All right, back to it now as we continue the conversations that are most important to you every single day. That's what we do here. Bring in different voices so you can hear different points of view and perspectives. Kevin Coughlin is the Ohio State Chair for U.S. Term Limits, a former member of the Ohio State Senate, pushing for term limits in America. Kevin, welcome back to the program.
Thank you very much. Glad to be here.
Yeah. From memory care, one of the most remarkable stories happened here. It's been a few months now, but there was a representative, a member of Congress that they couldn't find from Texas. Hadn't showed up in 6 or 8 months. They found her in a memory care facility, an old folks' home. Had no idea who she was, and her staff had continued to operate as if everything were normal for months and months. They should be probably considered for criminal charges, I would say, if they know she's in the, mental care, the dementia center, and still pretending that she's actually coming to work when she was not. But demanding term limits, it seems to be getting louder all the time, doesn't it?
It does. One by one, states are joining the list of states that are calling for a state convention to do congressional term limits. We're up to 12 states now, and we've got 2 more states that have passed out of one chamber. And here in Ohio, we haven't passed out of a chamber yet, but we are cautiously optimistic that we'll be able to pass a resolution by the end of this year.
So what do you think? I mean, term limits, here's the thing. If term limits are passed in some states, like Ohio, but not in California, doesn't that negatively impact Ohio if California keeps these people in there that are, been on the payroll for 80 years?
You're talking about at the federal level? That's not how it works. If 34 states pass a resolution to call for a convention of the states, then we will have one. And then if 38 states ratify a constitutional amendment, actually, if 38 states ratify a constitutional amendment, whether it's proposed by Congress or it's proposed by a convention of the states, then it will become the law of the land and part of our Constitution, evenly applied to all states.
So an individual, just so we're clear about what you said here, this is important. An individual state cannot say we're going to limit the number of terms a senator can serve or a member of Congress can serve. That has to be done at the federal level. It cannot be done at the state level. Is that correct?
That's correct. In fact, Ohio tried that when we passed term limits back in the 90s, and the court struck down the federal side of that and left in place the state term limits.
So how do you get to 34 states? You can't get 34 people in Congress to agree on much of anything, or senators for that matter. How do you get 34 states on board to agree?
Yeah, it's hard.
If 34 states to put it forward, then 38 states to ratify. How does it work?
Yeah. So first of all, the system is designed to be hard. The founders set up a system that would balance the majority with states' rights and make it very difficult to change their framework. And in fact, a convention of the states has never happened. But if there is an issue that you can get to 34 or 38 states, I think it's probably term limits. This is supported by 80% of the American people, and that's pretty even across the board, across all states. Majority of both parties support it. There aren't very many issues, frankly, that you would get to 38 states. But I think term limits is one of those unifying issues that crosses all demographics.
All right. So what's your idea of what's appropriate? How many terms in Congress?
Well, U.S. term limits doesn't prescribe. They want to leave it up to the convention. But personally, I think that no more than 12 years is sufficient. And I know a lot of people say, well, what about seniority and what about getting your sea legs and becoming effective? Effectiveness expands and contracts to the time that you have available. And we see that in the states where we have term limits. You have very smart legislators who figure out how to get things done, how to be effective, and how to have an impact in the time that they have available. And when they know they have that shorter runway, they become effective and they learn much faster. If you have 30 years to do that, then you're probably going to take a good long time and you're going to be a worthless member of Congress for a good long time.
So 6 terms in the U.S. House and then 2 terms in the U.S. Senate. Is that what you're saying, 12 and 12?
Yeah, I think that's right. I mean, I've heard 6, I've heard 8, I've heard all kinds of, and really all of them are fine because they're better than what we have now. But I think that it's going to have to, at the end of the day, it's going to have to be a reasonable balance.
And what do you say to folks that say, look, elections are the way you limit terms? Because if you have somebody that's really fabulous, whoever it might be, and you don't want to get rid of them, but you're forced to, how does that help the voters?
Well, that's a fair point, and one that I shared for a long time. But when you look at the numbers in Congress, the entire game is rigged in favor of the incumbent members of Congress. Over 90% of them win re-election. In the last 10 years or so, you've had over 2,000 opportunities to change a member of Congress, and it's only happened about 300 sometimes. And frankly, that's not always been because people get beat. It's because they take another job or they get appointed to something or they retire. So the turnover just doesn't happen. But when you look at the way the game is rigged for the incumbents, the fact that PACs and lobbyists and special interests give to them but not to challengers, the fact that they have taxpayer dollars that they use in their office to campaign on TV, on radio, on text messaging, on direct mail, which is
Right.
really campaign mail coming right out of the congressman's office.
Of course it is.
They have
It's
all that
messaging.
name
Look,
ID.
It's all messaging. It's all positioning. It's all of that stuff. No question. I got to leave it right there, but it's a great topic, and I think that you're getting traction because I used to be on the side of, well, elections limit terms, but then I've started to soften on that point. You might get me yet, Kevin. You might get me full-fledged yet. All
We're
right.
working on it.
Yeah, just one
Thanks,
day at a
Steve.
time. All right, Kevin. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Yeah. Congress can't be an old folks' home with special privileges, that's for sure. We'll take a break and be back. It is the Steve Gruber Show.